All right. In this video, I want to talk about spiritual viruses. It's kind of like they are more like parasites in the sense that they overtake somebody and then they want to spread to others. Kind of like something I talked about in the past about people with narcissistic personality disorder. They're not actually able to reproduce in the same way that a normal person would. They have a certain mindset that they have to build the conditions for to warp the child's mind to become a narcissist like them. So it works when the narcissist is able to have 2 or more children. Generally, the first child will end up being a scapegoat, taking all the blame for everything because the parents, as narcissists, don't want to take on, or at least one of them being a narcissist, doesn't want to take on responsibility for anything they ever say or do. It's always the child's fault. And then when they have their second child, or if they have more, it usually ends up being the youngest child who becomes the golden child, where the golden child can't do anything wrong, and they ended up getting this entitlement and arrogance to them where they don't face any consequences because even everything they say and do that is wrong is blamed on the scapegoat. You know, it's the older child's fault why the younger child disobeyed the parents. Right? For example. So you can see how the narcissistic personality disorder is not just some normal disorder. Right? Because if you have something like bipolar, for example, you wouldn't necessarily say that person is trying to manipulate and create other versions of themselves by messing up other people's minds, right? But something like narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, they do. And they'll even do this with others, whether they're family members, friends. They try to break them down to make them into subordinate narcissists themselves. So if you are friends with one and you got manipulated by them, they would slowly break you down in your boundaries and everything and warp you into becoming like a narcissist like them and thinking like them and being one of their little supplies and flying monkeys, and eventually you'll become your own little narcissist yourself, and they reproduced by warping you. And it's basically like you caught a virus from them, or you got the parasites from them that now mess with you and now can be used to be spread by you, through you. And we see this with some other disorders like that, where people who are traumatized, often they will traumatize others. Kind of like you may have heard, hurt people, or those who have been abused will abuse. A lot of these people who do things to children, it's most of the time it's because something was done to them when they were children. So they carry on the abuse, and it's like this weird psychological thing that messed with them, because when that sexual thing happened to them when they were a child, warped their mind, and they for the rest of their life they're going to try to work it out, and by them trying to work it out, they work it out by they themselves messing with children, and then they have then passed on the virus or the parasite to another child, right? And then this thing passes on and on, right? It's like a spiritual virus or parasite that keeps spreading. And thank God we have Jesus, the great physician, that can cure such a thing. The main problem with, pure narcissists is they lack the humility to accept that they've done anything wrong, to be able to come to Jesus to be healed, because they got too much pride. Pride is probably the worst sin, because not only does it cause you to fall into sin, but it keeps you from repenting. It keeps you from admitting any wrong and accepting any responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. Right? So I just wanted to talk about this because you might notice people who have certain ways of thinking. They tend to push that onto others. Like if you don't think the way they do, they really try to push it onto you. Kind of like atheists. Sometimes they're uncomfortable if you have an atheist friend with you not being an atheist, and they may be very pushy. Like they'll piss and moan complaining that you're pushing your beliefs on others, even though you may not be doing so. But then they feel that it's okay for them to push theirs onto you. Right? It's like like this virus, this parasite that's trying to spread. Right? It's strange. Again, a lot of times it's with ideas and ideologies as well, such as Catholicism and Islam, for example. But they have a tough time spreading. Like they don't really convert people outside of their religions. They don't usually convert a whole lot of adults. Right? Most of their conversions come from having children and then indoctrinating their children. Right? That's how they reproduce the ideology, that virus, that parasite, because people outside of that religion aren't convinced by it because it's not convincing. But children who are indoctrinated into it, they don't know any better, and they get caught up in it. Right? So, just another thing to think about there. Thank you for your time and attention. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.